Well. A more interesting affair we have indeed. Instead of making our way into the 2024 New England Patriots home opener, wondering if this would be but the single victory they might be able to carve, scratch, and fight for in the opening month gauntlet of their 2024 season, now we're wondering, hey, is there any chance the Patriots may exit this game, their home opener, tied for the lead in the AFC East at 2-0? Listen, if they're able to take this mindset into the game coming up this Sunday at Gillette, I'm going to give them a chance.
Let's go. Tired. They tired. That's what take them to the hill. Let's go. Take them to the hill.
That's right. We welcome you to the latest edition of Take 'em to the Hill, the podcast formerly known as Six Rings and Football Things. Now we still call it Six Rings because corporate would give us a lot of shit if we told them they had to change the title and the logo and everything. But that's the mentality. That's the way we are going about this week's preview with your old pals, Andy Hart. He's at Jumbo Hart, the co-host of the WEEI afternoon show. And you know, you'll always find me somewhere in the heart of Pat's Nation or at the bottom of a pint glass. Your old pal, Nick Fitzy Stevens here on Six Rings. Andy, and I got to tell you, from our usual pulpit of surveying social media to see what the Pats peoples and the Foxborough faithful are saying to what we're hearing on the local and national level and beyond, there's a little juice on this one Sunday. There's a renewed interest. There's more than just like, well, it's the home opener and it should be fun. Like there should be some telling tales told of a game between two teams that, believe it or not, are way more similar than I think people would give them credit for just upon looking at it from the surface or the old 10,000-foot view.
Tremendously similar. Young, defensive-minded head coaches coming off week one victories, guys that are replacing Hall of Fame legends. And it's funny, the Patriots, it just hit me. Have you ever seen that meme? I'm also spitballing like a segment or a portion of my afternoon show in my head, but Meme Mondays, where we do a thing on social media and fans pick a meme to describe the Patriots after they watched Sunday's game. And my Meme Monday this week would have been, the blonde who she's like, something tastes terrible. And she's like, and then the next picture, it's a second picture of the same blonde. And then she's like, oh, that's not bad. That's the Patriots, because I think everybody thought it was going to taste terrible, and then they were like, they don't taste quite that bad. And we have the Seahawks, a winnable game in week 2. Are you telling me 0-17 just turned into 2-0? And I think the Patriots have been utterly disrespected this week. Now, I may or may not be picking them to win.
Did I just hold on? Yeah. Like, if we had a larger production crew, or if I had a soundboard right now, I would probably play either the sound of a car crash or the record scratch, like, wait a second. Did I just hear Andy Hart say the New England Patriots have been utterly disrespected this week?
They played the game on their terms. They played a good, solid football game the way they want to play, and their opponent did the same thing, but their opponent is flying across the country, has a questionable coach, has a quarterback who I guess is the best case scenario version of your quarterback. Like, I just think there's so many similarities here, and yet using the old school rules that I don't know are truly accurate anymore, but the whole you get 3 points for being at home. So you're telling me that the Seahawks are a 6.5 point favorite over the Patriots if they were playing this on their field? Like,
or a neutral field. Like
what are we doing here?
If this game were in Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, the cornfield where they play, the Seahawks are a touchdown better.
Go bleed. Now, you could sell me that the Patriots could still be a home underdog. Coming into the season, the Seahawks were a 7.5 win over-under team. So people generally believe they're a better team, better franchise heading into 2024, and that's fine.
A more talented roster for sure.
Sure. Okay. Talented rosters don't win football games. Wait, what did he say? Actually, they do, Andy.
Actually, more often than not. I think that was a large part of what we talked about.
Absolutely.
All offseason long. And by the way, just want to tell everybody, because I'm so fired up for Sunday's game, I forgot to set the table like an appropriate podcast host should.
Terrible.
We're streaming this live on Thursday for anyone who wants to partake in it on the WEEI and Fitzy GFY socials. But of course, this is the Six Rings and Football Things podcast. This is our mega preview episode for week 2, the Patriots home opener, as they host the Seattle Seahawks. First up here on the podcast today, it's me and Hart. we are previewing the game. We'll offer our predictions. Then next, we will move on. I'll be joined by Dan Viennes. He is the host of Seahawks Forever. He will give us the behind enemy lines Seahawks perspective on what we should look forward to from the Hawks, as well as what they're saying about the Patriots. Then we'll wrap up with a fun new addition here to the podcast. Last season, Andy would often be at the stadium and he would give us our on the beat chat with someone else from the quote Patriots media cartel who's on the coverage. Instead, now our pal Mego, who is joining us with a call every Six Rings post-game show now, had a chance to chat with Nicole Yang from the Boston Globe about what's going on with Patriots Nation and how coverage has quickly shifted from, oh boy, I guess it's just going to be a 4-month-long funeral to, hey, we may have some stories to tell about this team. So 3-leg pod, get you guys as pumped and primed as you need to be for Sunday. And obviously, Hart and I can't wait because we'll be live with you on the Six Rings post-game show following the conclusion of Hawks at Pats. Now, back to what you were saying, Handsome.
Yeah, so I think this game is closer than the Seahawks being a 3.5-point road favorite. I would have been okay with something in the, 1.5-point favorite for the Seahawks. You can still convince me that, the game is not going to play out perfectly for the Patriots, but I would also argue Kenneth Walker banged up. He's the key to their running game. He's a big reason they won. They beat the Broncos, not a great team. You have the more impressive victory, in my opinion, and that was a little bit of a weird game where Broncos, I think, went 1 of 4 or 1 of 5 in the red zone, so they had opportunities to win that football game. There was a couple safeties mixed in there. Weirdly, you don't see too many games in the NFL with multiple safeties.
Bo Nix, sadly, the best of the rookie quarterbacks in week 1 because everyone else kind of stunk out loud.
Yeah,
just didn't do much.
So you beat a rookie quarterback. We beat Joe Burrow. I'm saying we. I'm joining you people for this segment only.
Whoa,
just this segment.
Feels weird. Did anyone else make room in the car for Andy? I didn't know that we would actually be taking along our little favorite passenger from the South Coast.
And I'm sure there's some of you people that are like, we don't want you. You're always wrong. Stay off our side of the road. And I could be wrong, but this is a team, you just played it. They're feeling themselves a little bit. Now, that can go one of two ways. They can be overconfident, and I think handling success is part of their story, or they can say, why don't we just do it again? Now, the Seahawks are a weird team. I think they have a much better defensive front than they're given credit for, but you can run. They were a terrible run defense last year. You could run all over them last year.
This is a different year, as we're seeing with the Patriots. Different year, different coach. Mike McDonald, former defensive coordinator, only a year younger, than Gerard Mayo. Got 38 and 37, as I'll put this up again for everyone to see. Jimmy Jensen points out, these teams went from having the 2 oldest coaches in the league to having the 2 youngest coaches in the league. That is a fun, dynamic alteration to the backdrop.
Too. I like the defense aspect. Everybody's got modern offensive coaches, young offensive coaches, but I don't think there's going to be that many young defensive coach matchups. 30-something head coaches that are defensive experts, hardos. I like that. You're seeing that hardo nature permeate the Patriots a little bit. I loved the clip. I loved
little bit. Oh my God,
I loved it. You know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
Quick aside, which I don't love this, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. Apparently, my son's football team had a goal-to-go play last week where the offensive line walked up against their rival, Bishop Stang, and said, hey, we're running the ball right here, and just so you know, it's a touchdown. And that's where they ran the football, and it was a touchdown. And when an offensive line is feeling itself like that, I think it can elevate a football team to new levels. And all the talk of this offensive line blowing and sucking, can't say that. Whoa, what are we stumbling to Shannon Sharp's Instagram?
Whoa, topical and NSFW.
They got something to prove, and I don't know if they can do it because, quite honestly, they were overrated last week, but they're feeling themselves. They're building confidence, and confidence can make people dangerous. I would love to see them come out and run the football again and control the clock and take care of the football. That said, I think the defensive challenge is bigger. Witherspoon is a guy that is one of the interesting young players in the game as a nickel back. He'll hit you. He'll run with you. He'll tackle you. He'll pick you off kind of player. They have young talent on that defense, and that's a challenge that Jacoby Brissett and really Alex Van Pelt need to meet. My point is just, I think this game is a rock fight. I think this game is a bad team versus a slightly better team, and yet the slightly better team is what I think is a significant, when you're more than 3, when you get that hook, you're a relatively significant road favorite, in my opinion. And
3.5 points on the road. Like they're picking the Seahawks as if they're the Seahawks that have actually finished the season 10-7, like I imagine they will, and possibly be a wild card candidate. Right now, at this particular point, they survived their first week. They're not feeling themselves maybe as much as the Patriots, which I believe makes this such a fascinating test. If the Seahawks are as good as maybe some people on the outside are saying, then they should be able to take the cross-continental flight. They should be able to come in as a 3.5 point favorite, potentially cover, but at least get a win against a team that wants to have this be the gridiron equivalent of the 20-minute fight between Keith David and Roddy Piper, and they live inarguably the greatest fight in American movie history. For the New England Patriots, can they take that surprising week 1 win and all the momentum and the lack of national confidence in them, turn that into the disrespect card, play it, and play their asses off again on Sunday at home, where regional expectations may have been altered given what a badass effort they put forth last week against a Bengals team that I heard earlier this morning on Wake Up It's Football or whatever, has kind of an outdated scheme and put forth a very meh effort. So, hey, Pats, can you guys respond to the challenge and the call? I did want to also share this, Andy. You said the Patriots were being disrespected nationally this week. NFL.com released all 10 NFL Network prognosticators, analysts, and experts picks. All 10, once again, selected the Seahawks not to cover, actually most of them to cover, and to win outright. And I would like to shout out our pal Taylor Kiles from CLNS, who always does a great analytical approach to things while being a damn good human. No team per PFF missed less than 10% of their tackles on defense last week, except for one who only missed 5% of their tackles, the New England Patriots. Boring-ass football shit like that is what's getting it done for them so far. I feel like it. Just allow it.
Why do you keep swearing? Jeez,
it's fun. It's also healthy and the sign of an evolved mind.
Well, then go fuck yourself. I just wanted to show how smart I am. Do you expect...
I love that you have an F-bomb on the WEEI YouTube channel now. That's great.
Do you expect Geno Smith to have a 34-yard touchdown run this week? Because I don't. I don't think this defense. Now, I have concerns about the defense, and one of them is Jabril Peppers. I'm a little worried about this hip thing. The dude couldn't walk as of like getting to the hotel, then played a full football game, and I appreciate him for that. But I am a little concerned as to what the next week brings for Jabril Peppers and some of these injuries, and we'll see how these injuries play out as the week goes on.
Yeah, hips don't lie, but they also don't heal in a week.
Yeah, I don't love that. That concerns me against this team. And just the pure matchups in the back end. You know, we were excited about Christian Gonzalez, week 1. Okay, well, now you get
Lockett, a very good week.
DK. Now it's week 2.
Well, you got DK, so Lockett is questionable, so he's a little dinged up, and Smith and
I don't believe any of those since Didn't we learn with Christian McCaffrey that those injury reports aren't worth the paper they're written on?
Don't worry about demonetized was the original title of this podcast, but thank you, Burley Sullivan, for watching live. Here's a good point. Okay, let's just bring it back to reality here. TD, who's watching live right now, a regular Six Rings guest. Fitzy, the Seattle defense is going to get AARP Jacoby killed. You may see the kid or Bazooka Joe by end of the game. The offensive line almost got Brissett killed versus Cincy. True. And now we are sort of like glossing over because the offensive line did a good job of opening up holes in the run game, and Ramondre was a beast with 118 of his 120 yards coming after first contact. Not the Alien movie, but rather just the physical game that he played. Jacoby Brissett was pressured on over 40% of his dropbacks.
Yeah,
that's a problem. And when you're dealing with Jonathan Hankins, Leonard Williams, and one of the top 10 pass rushers, according to 33rd team, last week, Boye Mafe.
No, they're good.
And they have good corners with Tariq Woolen and, like you said, Devin Witherspoon. Like,
and
this
a good
is
coach.
a more an aggressive, defensive-minded young coach.
Oh, this could get ugly. No,
I don't think it's going to get ugly.
No, it could. Like, I'm posing possibilities. There is every possibility that this gets ugly. There's also every possibility that the Patriots prevent it from getting ugly. Like, these teams are both very much bottom third unknowns to me in the NFL. So week to week, they need to prove themselves. Like, even Seattle was a bit of an unknown last year. They finished with a winning record, 9-8. They have wins over the Browns, the Lions, the Eagles. Those are relatively good wins in the National Football League in 2023. And yet they fire their coach. They turn things over. I don't know how much I respect their quarterback. Like, they have plenty of questions and plenty of answers. I guess that's how I would deem Seattle. And I think they could be a week-to-week nightmare if you're prognosticating their games, because I think they very easily could have and should have maybe lost on opening day, but they got the win. And I think there'll be weeks where they look really good, where Kenneth Walker is rolling and Geno is making the good plays and doing what he can do as a good quarterback, I guess, whatever you want to refer to him as.
Will they have written back by this Sunday?
Will the Patriots make them right back?
Will the Patriots make them right back because they ain't wrote back
Keon
yet?
White. Can I? You want to throw out guys for Seattle? Can I throw out Keon White? Can I throw out Christian Gonzalez? Can I throw out Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar? If those guys get their hands on the football, if they deflect footballs, if they pick off footballs, if they get turnovers on special teams. And I know these are big ifs, but there's ifs for both sides. And that's my point. I think these teams are closer than maybe the spread for a road team would indicate. I have questions because I don't trust the Patriots. I didn't really see the Patriots string together consecutive practices that I thought were really good in the summer. Never mind string together Sundays where I go, yeah, that's 2 Sundays in a row. They put together a good, competitive, consistent performance. So I don't trust the Patriots at all, but I don't really trust the Seahawks either.
Sneak preview, Sunday I'll be on site probably by 9 a.m. I'm going to try to whip together a quick social media IG video for the EEI and my socials as well, kind of like I did during the preseason, where I walked around at the first preseason game and asked as many fans as I could in an hour's time, what are your expectations for this season? Coming off of the first game, which I think opened a lot of eyes and turned a lot of heads for the right reasons, and knowing that there's not another home game until October, I'm going to want to find a way to get in touch with as many Pats fans as I can as quickly as possible before I got to jump on the old Jumbotron and joke around in the stadium. Did the first week change your expectations for the season? I just want to know, don't put the cat before the proverbial football horse and don't say, yeah, I'll see you at the Super Bowl. But have your expectations changed today,
like
Junior?
Kamala Harris at a debate. You need some water?
It's because the people have been eating my pets, Andy.
I
side note, there are some incredible videos on Twitter, by the way, of people taking the Trump's words and then putting beats and rap songs to
the internet, as they say, remains undefeated.
Oh my God. Every day, just when I think I've had enough of it and I'm done with it, somebody comes along and puts an electronic trombone to Trump's words. I don't care who the F you're voting for. Don't make this political. It's just funny, people. Let it be what it is. Anyway, I just want to know, have people's expectations changed for the Patriots in the season to come? So that'll be this Sunday, and I want to know what you guys have to say as well. Hey, nice to have you watching from the UK. Well done. Thank you very much. Will the Pats be eating dogs, or will the Seahawks fly in and eat their cats on Sunday? Let's find out, Andy. All right, time to wrap this up before we make our way into our next portion of the podcast, which, of course, we'll be chatting with Dan Viennes from Seahawks Forever. Let's offer up our predictions for what should be a really fun game. I think it's going to be, like you called it, a rock fight. I say street fight. Any which way, there should be a rumble at the Razor on Sunday. How do you see it playing out?
First of all, your guest should have the Twitter handle Moy Viennes. That's what I would have if I were him. That'd be a good Twitter handle. Anyway, now let's get to the game prediction. I know I'm
too lazy to mute you, so go ahead.
I know I fluffed up the Seahawks a little bit here, and more just the disrespect of the Patriots coming out of week 1. It is week 2 where there's often corrections. Sometimes the expectations heading into the season are validated in week 2. Maybe that'll come. I don't think so. I have altered my expectations a little bit from train wreck city for Gerard Mayo and his coaching staff to let's see how this goes. There'll be highs, there'll be lows, there'll be ups, there'll be downs, but maybe they'll avoid the train wrecks. And that was my takeaway from week 1. So I am going to go Patriots run the ball a little bit. Patriots make some plays on defense because I think those two things are going to be relative consistence throughout the year. They probably make more mistakes than they made in week 1. I'm not sure they can play quite as clean a game. I'm going to go with the Seahawks 20-17, threading the needle here. I will be taking those 3.5 points. I'll take the old Captain Hook to win. Patriots cover, but I think the Patriots will be in this game. I'm going to be really surprised if the Patriots aren't in this game in the second half. And again, maybe they're due for a stinker because we saw stinkers on the practice field, and maybe they can't put together 2 weeks of game action that is relatively clean in a row. But with Six Rings and Football Things, I know I'm negative Andy, and I know I mock you people, but if I think there's a chance they are in the game, well, then hell, I'm going to predict that there's a chance that they're in the game.
All right, very well. So Seahawks 20, Pats 17. That would not be a Seahawks cover. That would be an under, though, because it's coming in at Hawks 3.5 and 37.5 for your over under. All right. I'm going to go out on a limb. Originally, I had told you that I thought the Patriots would lose week 2, and I thought it would be a hard fought game. They would lose by a field goal as well. However, I'm not just going to ride with the same score. I'll put myself out on that limb. Either I'll fall off of it. I don't know if John Bon Jovi is going to step in and save me. If I do fall off that limb, hashtag topical reference. However, I'm going to support the guys because it's way more fun to be back in the fanboy lane. Now, going into last week, I was content being the guy on Unpopular Take Island, one versus everyone. No one else picked the Patriots. A few more people are giving the Pats a shot this week. That said, I'm doing it because I like the Sly guy. I'm going to give him a shot. And Seattle's offensive line is no great shake either. And maybe this is the week, like we said, someone writes back to Gino. So in a great affair with a long field goal with less than 3 minutes remaining, give me Joey Sly guy boosting the Patriots to a 23-20 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. Maybe Andy's right. Maybe I'm right. Call into the show on Sunday as soon as it wraps up from the Razor and let us know how you feel and who made the right call. All right, Andy, any final thoughts before we make our way into our chat with our pal Dan Viennes from Seahawks Forever?
Yeah, you people need to show up. You people need to be loud and proud at Gillette Stadium. We talked a little bit about it post-game. The days of presuming victories and having high expectations of blowout wins, those are all gone. And as a fan, this should be the most energy you bring to Gillette Stadium, maybe all season. It's the home opener. They're 1-0. It's a game people think you have a chance to win. Be a positive factor. I have questioned the Gillette Stadium crowd over the years for the ebbs and flows of its impact on games and maybe some early booing. There can be no early booing. I don't want to hear your GD Drake May chants. I want to see him play too, but stick those in your bum for this game and support your starting quarterback, support your head coach. I really believe the fans can have a positive impact on this game. Seattle is a team that they are used to a home field advantage. Mm-hmm. That Quest or whatever the hell call that place now.
Well, now it's like called Lumen Field.
Okay, Lumen Field is a great home field advantage for them. They're used to a home field advantage. Patriots fans, you people, get lubed up and go support your football team.
And we'll end on this inappropriate comment from one of our favorites here on Six Rings, Jordan Watson, who's taking it in live on Facebook this morning. Are the Patriots good enough to slow down Miami, or should they hire the Seattle? You meant to say Seattle. Are they good enough to slow down Miami, or should they hire the Miami police? That's too soon. It's highly inappropriate, and it made me laugh out loud.
Love it.
All right, this should be a good one, Andy. I'm really excited about the post game. I'm excited about all this. And every week, you guys, we will do our best to give you as many different angles, analyst coverage, insights, and whatever else we can possibly provide. Yes, coming from me, TD, the fanboy Fitzy with a smiley face. Look, the season just got the outlook changed drastically last week. No one's calling for winning records. I can't tell you when Drake May is going to play. All I know is the Take Him to the Hill boys are going to get out there Sunday and give you the best effort possible. And I'm with Andy. Either be loud and show them that you care, or blow it out your old derriere on Sunday. Let's go. Let's make some noise. And the old fanboy is going to be there to help lead the charge on the Jumbotron. All right, Andy, great job as always. That'll wrap up this portion of Six Rings and Football Things. And now to give you some insight as to what they're saying on the other side, if you're watching live, that'll be the wrap on the live stream. Stay tuned on the podcast for our next segment with Seahawks Forever host Dan Viennes.